everyone, I hope you have a lovely day and welcome to my monthly interview. Today I have a real treat for you because I have a very inspiring coach to interview for you. Her name is Laura, and Laura is a result business coach. She worked for years in the finance industry for a decade and often was the only woman in the room. She was awarded by the Financial Times as a global role model for women in business and is an international award-winning speaker. She has a mission that is, to me personally, so beautiful. Her mission is to turn your entrepreneurial ideas into a reality. And to me personally, she is such a great inspiration. So I hope that Laura is going to contact me so I can invite her for this interview. For people who don't know, I have a monthly interview each month, although that's why it's monthly. But I do an interview each month with an inspiring coach or speaker or just an inspiring business woman or entrepreneur. And I'm very excited for this interview, so I'm going to invite her right now. Just a second. Hi, Laura.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. It's a beautiful. No, it's not a beautiful day here. I'm like, it's a beautiful day, and then I look outside, and I'm like, oh no, it's so foggy. It's
I know,
so dark outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're known for the weather, aren't you? Like,
yeah,
people always. Yeah, for the bad weather. So I was wondering, like I said in the introduction, you spent a lot of time in the finance industry for a lot of years, and you were often the only women in the room. How did you experience that? Like, how was that for you, being the only woman there often?
Yes, yeah, you're exactly right. So I had almost a decade spent within the finance industry. So yes, many years. And, you know, not surprisingly, there were many situations where I was the only woman in the room. Kind of more in my later career, I was working within financial restructuring, kind of more specifically oil and gas. So as you can imagine, it was very heavily male dominated. So pretty much every other day I was the only woman, and the youngest by maybe 10, 15, 20 years sometimes, you know. So as much as you want to have that sense of belonging and I fit in, it's kind of glaringly obvious that you don't fit in at all. And so, you know, I think kind of early on in my career, that was a real challenge to get comfortable and, you know, to really work on my own confidence to speak up in those meetings and to kind of bring my ideas, because you feel like, well, how am I going to be accepted here when clearly people like me aren't, just by the fact that there aren't people like me here. So it was a journey for me to really become like confident and to actually find my voice. And it's something that I work with corporate women as well on, is, you know, that importance of having that inner confidence in yourself and not be conditional on what's happening around you, because the environment will continuously change. And so I actually went on this like massive personal development journey myself. You know, I was working with Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins and a bunch of other kind of incredible leaders. And it's all about, you know, your spiritual alignment, your mindset, which is so important. And then actually following up and taking action on the things that you said you've done. So it was definitely a journey for me, but one I feel before I departed from finance, you know, I had mastered to the extent that I no longer found it intimidating to be in those rooms. But it was a journey. That's impressive.
That's impressive, because I can only imagine, like, I had a couple of times that I was the only woman in the room, or woman, it's not plural. and it's such, especially I feel like the finance industry or fields similar to that are so hard and so male oriented, and also so male energized. Like, it's a boys' world, and I cannot even imagine being the only woman there and actually having to work and having to try find your voice. And it's so impressive that you did, because I think I can only imagine the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging, but it's something I'm always advising, and it's something I had to realize early on was, look, we don't have the opportunity to fit in, so we have to take it as an opportunity to stand out. You know, and I've had that experience many times when I was in corporate where, you know, the men I would meet at networking events would remember me, and they were like, oh yeah, I remember you from that engagement we worked on, or that other project, because you were like the one person who maybe wore color, or like was a woman, you know, who didn't just look like every other man there in a nice suit. So you have to see it as an opportunity to stand out always.
That's so beautiful said. Like, if you stand out anyway, then take that opportunity.
Yes, we were not born to fit in, right? We were born to stand out.
No, we were not born to fit in. We were not. No.
Yeah.
And at one point you made a change. You went from the finance industry into coaching. How did you make that change, and why?
Yeah, so this was like the most exciting decision I think I've ever made in my career to date. So after about 10 years, as I was saying, in finance, you know, I had seen around me the amount of inequality that existed really within the workplace. And so for maybe 2 or 3 years, I was already actively involved in gender equality, in promoting that and progressing it. So working with different leaders, mentoring different women within the industry already, working with different organizations and networks. So this idea of empowering women in the workplace, really supporting them, was something I was already like massively passionate about and already doing. And so honestly, I was turning 30. That was the big wake-up call for me. And I hope if anyone's listening, they don't have to wait for like a moment like that they can see that now in their own careers and their own lives. But it was, you know, I began to look ahead to the next decade, and really actually Iris was just like, what do I want the next chapter of my life to look like? And am I being truthful to myself? And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but it was a really hard truth to face of, you know, maybe I've spent the last 10 years doing something that I'm not meant to be doing. You know, maybe there's something that I'm like here on this earth for, you know, my bigger life purpose. What is that? And I don't think it's sitting at a desk or you know, working with it within the finance industry. I knew there was something like bigger. There was a different calling for me. And after a lot of kind of inner reflective work as well, I really realized that that was to really empower and liberate women through many different avenues. And so coaching, my coaching business was the first step towards doing that. And, you know, now I help women actually from corporate who want to set up their own businesses. So I have like almost an entrepreneurial startup accelerator for corporate women. So
that's so cool.
It is. It's very exciting and it definitely like feels aligned. Like this is what I'm meant to be doing after all these years. Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying with looking back at your years and figuring out like, what is this what I was meant to do here? Because it doesn't feel like a fit. I definitely been in that situation. I think a lot of people have been. Well, it's hard, right? Because it's like you spent all your time in school and university, and now you've got a good job, and society is telling you like, this is what success is. This is what you're meant to be doing. And to kind of say, actually, no, this isn't what I want. I'm going to go and do something quite different, where there isn't a secure paycheck, where it isn't like, you know, their university to go and I don't get a degree for it. You know, it's just such a different mentality. So I also have such credit for the respect for people who do that.
Yeah, well, because I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people feel at one point in their lives like, is this it? Like, is this what I'm meant to do? And they don't really act upon it. So I really think it's so inspiring that you did and you made that change, because you were really secure and very happy, I think. Or not happy, but very secure and comfortable at the place that you were.
Oh, I was. I mean, my job back in corporate, like it wasn't like I was hating life and things weren't going well. You know, I was really successful. I was one of the top paid employees at my level. I was getting promoted every other year. And I was like, you know, really had a great network with their global leaders. So my career was looking very successful and kind of promising going forward. But you just have to be true with yourself. You know, when you have that question of like, is this it? Like, is this really all there is to it? You know, okay, I'm good at it, but just because you're good at something doesn't mean that's necessarily like what you should be doing for the rest of your life. So it's you have to.
I'm really good at eating, so
you have to have an honest conversation, I think, with yourself, and just realize like we only have like one experience in this body on this earth. Like, how do you want to spend that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really brave. Did you have a lot of resistment when you did that? Like from colleagues or family or friends?
Yeah, I mean, it was mixed. Like, I know a lot of people didn't really understand what I was doing, and there was a kind of a sentiment which I know came from a place of love of, you know, why not just wait, like, see how things go, like, don't make the decisions so fast. And I know people like that kind of level of concern is just coming from a place of wanting to protect and love you. And I know, like, I speak to a lot of women who go through the same things with family and, like, friends and partners, and they have the same kind of attitude towards it. But I think if your desire to do something is strong enough, and like you are very clear about what you want to do and you're passionate enough about it, and you have a strong enough why that you're going to do it, then you have to just take the action now and do what's right for you. Like, we all have our own internal guiding system. You know, we have to listen to that before we go and seek advice from anyone else.
Yeah, like your personal intuition, that's what you're referring to. Like your inner knowing. I always call it inner knowing. Like you somewhere know what is right.
Absolutely.
So you are a business result coach, and that's what your mission is, helping women in the corporate industry realizing they're entrepreneurial. That's such a hard word to say if you don't speak English as your first language, you know. It's so hard. But what is it exactly that you do and how you help people?
Yes, exactly. So I work with corporate women who are, you know, still working within the company, but have this like really creative idea or have this passion to do something more. And almost we're kind of where I was maybe like a year or so ago, who, you know, they're successful, they're ambitious, they're driven, but they just know that there's more to life, that there's something else they're passionate about. They actually, a lot of it is they really want to make a real impact in this world, and they don't find that they're able to do that through their current companies. So I work with these women to help turn those just ideas into like a real successful business. And my approach to coaching is like 3 levels, right? And I know a lot of coaches will just look at the strategic side of things, like what actions you need to take, what you need to do, which is quite like a masculine energy approach to things. And of course, actions, but it's so important in action. I totally get it. But there's like 2 steps before it, which I love working on, because I feel like that's really where the transformations happen. And that's on the spiritual level and on the mindset level. So just to break it down, like on the spiritual level, it's not like some woo-woo stuff that's like, you know, intangible. It's almost looking at like the physics, like the energy, like the laws of the universe that actually control everything that we're creating in our existence. And how can we get into alignment with whatever it is you want to create in your business, in your life? And so that really is the foundation. And then we look at your mindset, which is everything I've ever learned from like the likes of Tony Robbins when I went to train with him. Yeah. You know, and it's really, there's a lot of like, how can we get out of our own way? Like when we know what we want to do, like how do we ensure that we're actually following up and doing that? And that any limiting beliefs, any kind of lack of confidence, any kind of little things that are hiding in the back of our mind that could potentially stop us from moving forward, that we just get rid of them completely and we feel empowered enough to move forward. And then we look at taking the action. It doesn't take as long as it may sound on this. It's quite like a natural process. But it's not just delving straight into, okay, what is your plan? Let's put in your action steps for next week. Now go, good luck. You know, there's more to it. Yeah.
And so you're a firm believer that whatever happens in your mind is a reflection of what happens outside eventually? Like it starts within your mindset?
You know, it's a hard one to grasp sometimes, but like our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And I know that might sound a bit weird, and it took me a really long time to like get that or like accept it, but it is just so true. You know, how we're feeling, how we're turning up, like our own emotional set point, everything like that, it does just reflect outside. And like I saw a massive change in my own career when I worked back in corporate, when I started to invest in my own personal growth and work with Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor and, you know, Robin Sharma and different leaders. Like my success changed completely. And that's what I'm trying to help women understand.
Yeah, those are some amazing names you're just like calling out. Like they are so inspiring. Like especially Tony Robbins, I think is an inspiration for everybody who is a public speaker or coach. He is so amazing. But I think you're absolutely right. That's why I focus on mindset so much too, because it sounds like something very fake, very, like you said, woo-woo, like, oh my God, you're your inner world is your outer world. It sounds so.
It does.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get it. Like, it's not natural or like intuitive to feel like, oh yeah, that makes sense sometimes.
No, it's like, oh, this sounds like a load of crap, to be honest, but it is so true. Like, I think we're such self-saboteurs that we kind of tend to unconsciously stop ourselves from accomplishing anything we want sometimes, because out of fear of out of anything else. And I think it's so important to focus on mindset. So I really love that 3-step thing you do, because I think it's really interesting. And what do you do on a spiritual level? That's what I'm really curious about. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, like, for all of us, like especially entrepreneurs starting that journey, like the biggest hurdle anyone faces is ourselves. Like every time. It's not anything going on around us, it's not the economy, it's not social media or not having enough clients. It gets ourselves, like every single time. So if we can work on ourselves, help to grow and overcome those challenges, then our business will begin to thrive. So on the spiritual side, you know, I work a lot with the law of attraction, and actually like through getting like through meditation and different practices, getting really aligned with your center and like where it is you want to manifest in your life. So for example, you know, if there's basically anything we ever desire in your life, like any goals we're setting, the reason we're doing that is because we believe that there's a certain feeling attached to when we achieve them. So if you want more money, if you want a bigger house, if you want a certain job, or create a certain business, like the only reason we want those things is because we imagine how we're going to feel when we get them. And so if we can almost backtrack and begin to live in the vibration of those emotions now, we become this like super magnetic attractor to be able to manifest all those things into our lives so much more rapidly. Now, I know it kind of might be easier said than done sometimes, especially with different priorities around us and all these kind of different things trying to take our attention and distracting us. But if we can really master that first step, and it's something, you know, I can take clients through something quite simple in terms of a process to do that, it will allow us then to take the next step in terms of understanding our mindset, and then, you know, ultimately taking those actions towards creating our, you know, our reality. It just makes it all so much easier. There's no resistance. It feels like we're in tune with what we're doing. Everything just feels easy, and it doesn't feel like a struggle, like you're pushing, you know. So that's why I think the alignment is always so important. Yeah, so I'm, as you know, I'm a big believer of the law of attraction as well. But do you? That's why we connected. I am. Yeah, we're attracted. But do you find any resistance from people, especially from the corporate industry? Because I can imagine it's quite new for them. It's a mixed one, right? So, I mean, this is why I don't say like, oh, I'm a spiritual coach, because I'm not. Look, I'm a business results mentor and coach. I spent a decade in corporate. I want to see results, right? I want the transformation. But the spiritual side is such an important part of it. But I think if you lead with that, if it's, you know, new to people and they're not really aware, or like they don't have a clear understanding of what it is, it can be quite intimidating, quite off-putting. And it can be quite maybe sometimes hard for people to buy into or believe that it will work for them. So I always lead with like, look, what do we want to achieve? And how we go about doing that, let's just leave that up to myself, and we can work together on it. Just trust me. But we'll always be looking at the results. And I think if you can help corporate people understand, or your clients understand, I'm here to help you get results. I'm not here to just sit and meditate with you, you know, just so you can kind of feel good. Like, this is ultimately all about creating transformations for you. Then I think they have that trust, and they kind of buy into you and say, okay, well, she is really focused on getting these results. I trust her. I'll just allow like myself to believe in whatever she's telling me to do right now. So it's a bit of a journey sometimes, I know. But actually, a lot of corporate women that I do work with, they are like closet spiritual people. Like, they're like, oh yeah, no, I love Esther. I love that frame. They're like, oh, I love Esther, or I've like listened to Eckhart Tolle, and you know, but they don't talk about it in corporate because it's not the done thing, and you know, people might think they're a bit strange, but they always have a little bit of an awareness or some interest already that seems to be there. So otherwise, they probably wouldn't come into my world if they didn't. Yeah, they'd be like energized out of your world. Yeah, like, exactly, no, it's not a fit. Yeah, I get it. That's so interesting. Like, I do know that a lot of entrepreneurs who are on a very high level are spiritual. I'm now reading the Miracle Morning by It's a very good book, but I don't like the name. I can't remember it, but it's gone. I don't know what happened. But he tells a lot about like people like Oprah or very, very influential or high earning people, and they all have a spiritual practice each morning. Do you have something like that for yourself?
Yes, absolutely. My morning is like my precious time of the day. And like whether I have like an hour for myself or even just 15 minutes, like I'll always ensure I do something. So there's 3 things that I'll do. So one will be kind of taking care of myself spiritually. So that's like some form of meditation. I'll do something for my body, whether it's like actually going to a full out like boxing class, which I love in the morning. Or,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
boxing.
I love it.
That's so cool.
I know, it's like 6 a.m. and you're doing burpees to like rock music. It's insane. But if I'm stuck for time, I'll just jump on like my rebounder at least for like 5-10 minutes just to kind of get my body moving. And then I'll do like a visualization practice. So I have like my own vision video that I created, and it's really just to tap into that vision of the life and the dreams and the goals that I'm setting for myself, and I want to actually live in them now and not feel like they're so distant in the future. So always something in the morning, regardless of whether I have 5 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or whatever it is. I'll always make time.
That's so cool. A vision video. Like I have a vision board, but a vision video is like the equivalent.
Video is where it's at.
The vision video. That's so. It's like a vision board, but then in video form, I think. Right?
Yes. Do you know? It's something
That's
I haven't heard like people talk about at all, because it's all about the vision.
No.
I don't use a vision board anymore. I'm like, no, threw it out. I have my vision video now, and I can take it anywhere with me, watch it anytime. I love it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's so cool. I should make a vision video.
I'll do a workshop on it sometime. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, you should. You should. I think that is the new big thing. Like, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I know, because it doesn't get talked about, you know, like an actual video with music and things.
No, but it's so much more emotional as a board, because you have to put the emotions there yourself. But a vision video with music, it's already getting you're hyped up already, I think, after something like that.
Exactly, because that's what Tony Robbins does, right? He infuses music in because he knows that like moves people emotionally into different kind of vibrations.
Yeah.
So it's very
That's so cool. A vision video. I'm really gonna make that. I'm really gonna make that.
Learn something new every day, right?
Yeah. So you focus mainly on women, and you said it's because of equality you saw in the work field. But why do you mainly focus on women? Like, what is the most important thing for you to get out of that?
Well, firstly, because I genuinely feel like it's my life's mission, and I say that with complete honesty. Like, I feel like it is my life mission to empower women, and as I said, it's come in many different forms, and now it's through my business. And I also feel like, you know, women are like the biggest untapped resource we have in our world, and we have the ability to create life. We have the ability to do these incredible things. We have this massive manifestation power within us that is just so hidden, and we're distracted from it, and we don't even have that real connection with ourselves. So it's like, if we can empower more women to stand in their power, oh my God, this world will be a different place. Like, fully. So I feel like working with women, helping to empower them by not giving them power, but like helping them to reclaim their power, stand in their power, have that sense of inner confidence and knowing, like, women are unstoppable in what they can achieve. So if I can be part of that journey and helping them do that, like, for me, that's like the most rewarding work I could do.
That's beautiful. That's truly beautiful. Do you also feel like maybe the economy in the world now is a little bit too much male energized? Like, it's all about, in school, for example, it's all about getting good grades, and it's not as female energized. Do you know what I'm mean
no,
with
that's
those
such
two?
a great point. No, it is. I totally understand. I mean, it is. You're right. Even through like all our academics, like up through school, through university, even into work, it's all results driven. It's like, get the grades, get the job, you know, push, and you got to work hard, and that's a real masculine energy. But it's not surprising, because like, who sits at the head of governments? You know, who sits on the boards of these companies? It's all men. So it's naturally this masculine energy being put onto society and onto communities. So bringing that balance of female energy in, you know, it's going to be really powerful, and it's going to enable that massive shift to take place. I already feel this shift is taking place, especially with 2020. Like, it's a special kind of year with numerology and different things like that taking place. So I'm really excited about things, and I definitely see things moving in that direction. It's just about us as women now supporting each other and almost banding together with the confidence and knowing that we have the power to make massive difference in this world and to create the world as we truly want to see it.
I totally agree with that. Like, you do feel kind of a shift. Like, we see in America, for example, how many people that are running for president now who are female.
Marianne Williamson, yes.
I know. I'm like, and that's the second time in a row that a female is even considered to be a president. So I'm like, okay, there is a change. It's not at the point that we would like, I think, but there is a change happening.
It's coming for sure. I believe in that fully. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I feel that there are a lot of men who are kind of worried about it because they feel like, but do you want us to, like, I have these conversations with my boyfriend, like, do you mean that I have to be less present, or do you mean, and I'm like, no. How do you feel about that?
You know, I work mostly with women now, so it's not something that comes up as much. But back when I worked in corporate, it used to be a conversation I'd have a lot. And I think it's always about working with people and collaborating and bringing everyone together. Like, I was never the type of person to be divisive and be like, oh, it's men's fault or anything like that. Like, we're all here just doing our best. But we're living in a society and in an economy and in these structures that are set up that are not supportive of women, and neither are they really supportive of men today. You know, so it's always about coming together and like recreating our reality in a positive way. But as women, we can never be successful if we're trying to, you know, say it's men's fault or isolate them or, you know, point blame or have anger, like anything, those negative emotions. It's just destructive for ourselves. So I don't even go down that path.
No, yeah, you're right. Like, I know, I think I do call myself a feminist, but I think the word is so negative because of, because, oh, that's my cat. Because he's always visiting the interviews. I don't know. He cannot be without me. He's always somewhere. But what was I saying? Like, feminist. Feminist. They're seen as negative because most people think that we're anti-male or anti-man, and I'm like, no, it's not. No. No, we need men too. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So that's very interesting that you put it that way, because I think a lot of people need to switch in their mindsets into, especially some feminists, not all feminists, but need to switch, like, we need men as well, and we need to work together instead of be separate.
Yeah, and you know, I think the thing is as well, it's like we all have an individualized life curriculum, right? So we all really are here to fulfill a certain mission for the like broader involvement of the world. So it's about creating a society where women can also do that. It's not about putting one down or, you know, cutting people out or having to force women into position. It's just, let's just make things equal and fair so we can all fulfill what we're here to do, ultimately. Totally agree.
Yeah, totally agree. The world would be such a better place for it, I think.
Yes, we are on it. Yeah. We're on it. We're part of the journey.
So, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned over the years and that you want to give people that are watching this?
Oh, that we really control our own reality. Yeah, I know that sounds very simple, but it's very empowering when you realize that you are the creator of your own reality. It's not anyone else. So good or bad, whatever's come into your life, you have been the creator of it, but you also have the power to recreate it. And I think that's why I love coaching women, because it's instilling that empowerment in them to realize that if they understand, if they can get that reconnection with their own inner power, if they can understand how their mind is working, they can then begin to take the actions to create the reality they want. They have the power, you know, like you have the power to do that. Sometimes we need the support to understand how, but that realization is a game changer.
Yeah. Great lesson. I think a lot of people could benefit from that. I think,
you hear a lot of people blame, and blame is just such a bad place to go to, because you give up all your power. So if you're blaming your partner, or the politics, or anything, it's like
the fact that you have kids is also one, and I can't speak from experience yet, but like, can you imagine laying that blame on your kid? Like, I didn't fulfill my dreams because I had you.
Yeah, we have to take power back and realize, like, the only person we ever can really, not blame, but we are in control of our own reality. But only if we are conscious of that and we're making the decisions that are in line with what we truly want. And so there's a whole other part about really speaking up for what you want, knowing what you want, having the courage to say, this is what I want, and not just be pleasing other people. So you got to stay true to yourself. It's a process, but it's something that when you get there, it's so beautiful and it's so empowering to really achieve. Yeah,
I think so too. I think it's really inspiring that you help people learn that, and you help women get there for us, because I think especially women, we learn to please more than maybe men do.
Yeah, I can only teach this because it was a journey I've been on. And like, I used to just love pleasing everyone else so that they would like me and life would be easy. So cute. You know, but it's a journey, and but when you begin to take back that power and you let go of that need to please, or that disease to please, as Oprah would say it is, it's so life-changing. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for inspiring people who watch this, and my following, and inspiring me, because I really learn a lot from you, talking to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so happy we connected. It's divine.
Yeah, me too. It really is. And it was so funny, because I was just saying to my boyfriend, like, I really would love to get some more contacts in London, because it's so close by.
Yes.
And I love the mentality in England. So I was like, I really would love to get some contacts in London, and a day later or so, I
popped up.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Thanks, universe.
Thank you. So yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you so much for this interview, because I really think that you help a lot of people, and a lot of people are helped by watching it. Watching this interview. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I wish you a lot of luck with your coaching business and your speaking and all the fun stuff that you'll be doing this year, because I'm sure you'll be doing a lot of fun stuff this year.
Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get in touch, they can just go to my Instagram page and my website link, and everything is there. So easy. Yeah, if you want to follow more of Laura's mission and her work, go to her Instagram page. I will link it below. And go to her website if you're interested in getting some coaching, or just learning more about what you do. Come say hi.
Come say hi.
It's been so lovely speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a lovely day, and we'll see you. I will speak to you. I think I will speak to you soon.
I'm sure of it.
Bye. Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
So that was the interview with Laura. I really enjoyed it. She is such an amazing woman, and she has such a great mission here in this life. And I am really curious what your mission is in this life. So next month there will be a new interview, and this Friday there will be a new video online on YouTube. So it was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. I'm so high in energy right now. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please don't forget to give it a like or subscribe, or whatever you watch this on. Do something to show your love. I will see you next time, and in the meantime, don't forget that only you have the power to make the life you dream of.
I can't stay.